Hello, I'm back again. It's good to be here with you all. So I'm a little late, but I had to wash my hands, so you guys can relate, right? I have had some interesting couple of classes yesterday and again this morning. So I was thinking to myself, what could I be working on tonight that might be of interest to people? And I thought you would like to see how all of this sketchbook practicing and planning gets put into a single painting. So what I decided to do was show you the plan and how I plan to put that into watercolor. So just go ahead and let me know if the music's too loud. But tonight I'm just gonna paint. Hi Deb, nice to see you. Good to see you made it. So this was part of, I'll put this back in here. This was part of our drawing class yesterday and learning how to field sketch so that when the weather breaks and it's beautiful out and it's not raining, we can go outside and take what we've learned and observe nature. And so the sketch journaling helps you kind of get this plan all in one place. So we worked in pencil yesterday. And I talked about how I decided to choose this particular landscape. I had 7 of them to choose from, but this one really spoke to me because it had nice lines, it had some interesting spaces, and I really liked the color contrast between the poppies and the green. And in this morning's Zoom class with my class, I modeled for them how I take the value study, which is in pencil over here, and I don't even really look at the photograph at that point. I get a pencil drawing here and I plan my color palette. So I started here with just some pastels the day before, and then I took this into, this is my color palette I then used in watercolor in this morning's class. So I thought, wouldn't it be fascinating to see, so now that the plan is done, I've got my what I want to keep and what I like to let go of as far as in the photograph. And I have my color palette decided. And I have the study, so I'm basically taking it from here. I almost don't even need the photograph anymore. And that's how we use planning. And so what I'm teaching my students is if we're not really finding the time to do a full-on project, sometimes you can just do sketches and studies out in nature, enjoy some time outside, and prep for a painting that you will do in the future. And you have a whole book of ideas for those moments when you're not really sure what you'd like to do. So it helps you on two ends. Sometimes you don't have time, so you can work in the journal, and sometimes you feel a little unmotivated. And I think what I'm hearing from my students, well, not I think, I'm definitely hearing from my students that they're feeling unmotivated. And talking about getting creative and looking at a book that you've created full of ideas and the plan is already set up, the work is done. So by the time I get to here in my studio, all I do is I look at all the pieces and I put together the puzzle. And I get to relax and listen to music and just enjoy painting. So I thought I would start that with you today. I'll start with a line drawing. So basically this line drawing without all the dark values is going to go on this paper. I'm using all the notes that I wrote here, like these are lines that tell me where the horizon line is, how much sky and how much land there is according to the frame that I'm looking at. I've got the same, approximately the same shape frame for my piece here. And then I have just little notations, how far down the path, the top of the path and the line for the bottom of the path is. So these are those lines here. Without all the shading, I'm going to start right there. So if that sounds good to everyone, I'm going to get started, and I'm going to turn the music up and you can just watch me paint and listen to music. How does that sound? Oh, and breathe. Breathing is very highly recommended. I'll be doing this until 7 o'clock, and then if you got the email, you just click on the Thursday PM Zoom link and we'll be there chatting this up, or I will continue to paint in watercolor tonight. I don't know if I hear everybody breathing. That's better. Nice deep breaths. Deeper than you're used to. see what I'm doing? Or are the lines too light?
It's a little light.
Yeah?
You can still see it. Debbie says I'm breathing.
Nice to hear. That music I've been playing a lot in the studio.
Can I post it to Serenity Studios?
Hmm?
Can I post it to Serenity Studios?
Please do, yeah. In the background, that's Jillian.
Hello.
Not to worry, we are following protocol. Those who know me know that I wouldn't think of anything else. Safety first. Just getting enough information so that I can put in my trunks. This is called finding your line. That is how I draw. Feel the poppies. Now these are perspective lines. They get wider as they come in. Just gives me an idea of where I want to place my poppies. Center of interest. Make sure I overlap the poppies. Just using artistic license right now. Poppies get smaller as you go back. This is just reminding me they get smaller. I'm not going to put them all in. This is just a reminder right about here. They're this size. By the time they get here, they're just a line of coral. Now, just so you can see it, I had to draw just a little darker than I would have otherwise. So I'm just going to take some of those pencil lines away. It'll be harder later on to get rid of. So, can they see that, Jillian?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. There's my line. All right, we are ready to get rolling. Let's start in the sky. Good time for a breath, just as you're about to paint the sky. Sorry I was a little late tonight. I started just a few minutes late. Jillian was making some videos. She's going to be offering some private sessions, and I'm so excited to see this all come together. She's a phenomenal portrait artist, so she's going to be offering some private sessions. That button will soon be on, or by the weekend she'll have a button that you can contact her, book some sessions. You can currently book sessions with me. That button is already on the website. They're all virtual. So we can meet in the comfort of your own home. I can critique your pieces, look at what you've been working on, or just get you started on something new. All right, so I'm going to use a wet on wet technique for this because I'm back at the studio, and that's a soft edge right here. So that's how I know to use wet on wet. This is just water, so you're not seeing any color yet. Just gonna put where the blue is going. I'll bring it down just a little bit into the trees because the trees are darker, so I don't have to worry about saving that. And here goes the blue. It's a little bit light because it's a light sky. I'll post pictures of the finished product later. And now to the yellow. And now I'm just doing water right up to the edge, the top of that mountain. And there we go, sky's done. I'm gonna put some of that blue, wet it first, just for some prep. I'm gonna put some of that blue right down on the path, just to get that started. Got any comments, Jillian?
Let me check. Pam says it looks a little fuzzy. Is the lens dirty?
I'm not sure what's going on with my phone. There is a little bit of haze to it. I noticed that, but my new iPhone is coming in tomorrow, so let's just pretend we're in a euphoria together until I can fix that. I'll put it under technical difficulties. All right, so just a little bit of a wash. A couple places that I could think of putting that to save some time later. And I can also put some washes wherever I see yellow in here. That's called an underpainting. Just
Sandy, hold it a little bit more. Hold it a little bit more that way.
this way?
Yeah, to like away from you.
Is that
Yeah, it's more visible.
excellent? Thanks, Jillian. That is so helpful. So I've got some yellow and I've got some gold. It's super light. These are just light washes, so you're not going to see too much yet. There we go. Let's get some underpainting in here. Underpainting, like I said, just unifies the colors. And there is a lot of gold grass down in this front part. The warm colors are going to bring this forward. When I go into the zoom room afterwards, then this will be all dry so that I can start this grass texture. This is all a field of grass with poppies all coming through here. And then beautiful rows of poppies all in the background. Kind of get all the soft edges. This is a damp brush. Don't want too many hard edges. The yellow on the poppies won't hurt because they're going to be bolder and brighter. Some nice bright yellow. I'm going right into. This is right on dry paper. The underpainting is just, it's really loose. Doesn't look like too much as far as the paint, but it'll really bring forward some parts later when I get into the grass. There might be some dull greens. Nice. There's a nice beautiful green hill in here, so I don't know if you can see that. There's all these nice shadows from the trees. So that's going to be fun, but what the yellow underpainting does is that's the top of the hills, because the hill will go up and down. So these tops where I'm putting the yellow will be a little bit more vibrant and the sun can hit it. Well, the sun can't hit it. You'll see that the sun's hitting it. So over in here, I'm going to put some of these coral pieces, and I'm going to put more water in it as it goes back, and more paint as it comes forward to get that vibrancy. I'm not going to do these flowers yet, but since I've got the washed out colors right now, I might as well start plugging in some of these. There's nothing around it that's wet that's going to interfere or bleed. I'm just going to grab some orange. Jillian, you gotta head out, honey?
Hey, are you all set?
I am all set. Thanks for your help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say bye to Jillian, everyone. Hi, Jillian.
Do you want me to put the iPad somewhere?
No, you can leave it right out there. Thanks, honey.
Have a good night. Enjoy painting.
Thank you, I will.
We'll see you soon.
Have fun with your friend meeting.
I will.
Alright, so now we're going to go back in here. So this, because it's a controlled area, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet it first because the paint is only going to go where the water is. And they're just light rows of like orangey peach. In between, I've got grass. So I'm just going to lay down the area that I want to put the distant poppy field in there. And I water it down. Got some yellow. You're not going to see too much because these are just washes, but at least you can see the application of it. I've got two different colors. One's more peachy yellow, the other is more of a kind of like a subdued red. I put some brown in it, kind of muddied it up a little bit. And I'm being sure to leave space for the green in between. And that's about it. Right about here, it starts getting like a little polka dotty. So that's where I put that reminder in my planning journal. Right about here where the path curves is where I can start to see the shaping of the flowers. So I don't want to fill that in. I want to be able to work in the grass parts later. So speaking of grass parts, let's go back to that. Start filling in some of that. Let's do the hillside. That's always fun. How's everyone doing today? We still breathing? If you're here on Facebook, I assume you are, so that's good. Hi, Karen. How are you? So again, I'm going to wet the top of this whole hill that goes right behind these trees. You're not going to be able to see anything because this is just water, but it's going to give me some control when I put the paint in there. It's nice when we have a little bit of control, isn't it? This is a darker color, so this you'll be able to see. I'm not going to start on top. I'm going to put it right in the water that I just laid down. And I'm bouncing the brush so I get a little bit of texture. And then I want the bottom part to be darker. So I'm going to put that in first. I'm using the side of the brush so that I'm using that length of the bristles to get my edge. That's going to be the horizon line is what I'm making right now. I get kudos for doing this like holding holding this freehand, right? I get A+. Alright, now putting some water in that same mixture, and I'm gonna take some of the water out because I just wanted to water down the paint, but I don't want too much water because then it'll start dripping down into all that texture I just created. But I do want a lighter top mountain, so this top part needs to be a little lighter. So I just add water. That's what watercolor is all about. A little trick to distant hills is you don't make it real choppy, because the further away it is, the more smooth that top of the tree line is going to be. This actually goes further over. I'm on dry paper now. I'm getting bold, people, I'm getting bold. Yeah, Facebook Live does show up backwards. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I'm getting new technology in very, very soon, so you'll be able to see this much differently, hopefully by next week. So there's the hill. I think I'm just gonna skip right to the trees so you can kind of see them a little bit. You know, it's starting to look like a landscape, even though these are all washes and underpaintings. They're super light, they're just influencing and unifying the colors of the final overlaying layers. So, hi Caitlin, how are you? Good to see you. So I'm gonna go back to the blue, and I'm actually using burnt sienna for the dark colors, and phthalo blue. It's a nice, rich green blue. If I put more of the burnt sienna in there, then it's a little closer to the green. But it stays mostly to the blues. So I'm trying to use the blue and the green a little bit heavier to just complement the bright colors and the poppies that are going to be out here. And like I said, the finished piece or the piece in process, I will post in the comments. So check back sometime in the next day or so on this live. Sometimes it doesn't post live for me, so I have to put it up in YouTube, and then I'll post it on my my wall. But just check back on the wall. Check on my wall. Now this is just water, so you're not going to see much. And in the water, I'm just gonna just start putting some shape and form before I go right to the edge. And that's to create lights and darks. So I'll go back and shape that again. Oh, you found North. Wow, it's a miracle. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. Aw, her bird got out, and that was the day that it snowed. And I just put so many prayers out there that North would come home. He found his true north. Hi Erica, how are you? All right, we got just a couple more minutes, and then we're going into the Zoom room. I'm going to continue painting on this and just talk a little bit about so this was the plan. We started this yesterday, how to choose a piece, how to decide what we keep in our painting, what we leave out, and why. And I decided by doing this in watercolor, and actually it started over here, I didn't want the corner to be this dark over here in my painting. So I tested it out in watercolor, and I wrote a little note to myself, leave out contrast. I really want this to be like really bright green with a little bit of contrast to it, but mostly just the poppies. I didn't want all this shadow. So I'm gonna leave that out on mine. You're funny, Pam. Pam, you're cracking me up. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is just quickly get a little bit of, I'm gonna end with this other tree line. Get it in water. Isn't it nice to paint the flowers? Almost like we're manifesting them into the world. Come on, flowers. Come on, spring. You can get here. We need you now more than ever. You just feel all the crocus kind of coming up. Oh my gosh, the parkway was insane today. I think all of Syracuse area, they needed to do traffic control. It was so busy. Remember safe distancing, people. Not everybody was practicing that at the parkway. I went out for a little while, but I didn't feel it was safe enough. I don't like the 6 feet. I go 10, so I was jumping off the pathway about every 5 minutes. I think I look like a crazy person. And I always go back to that safe thing. You know, I'm an artist, so that's how I roll. Look how fast we can get this on here. So see how I'm leaving holes? Like that's a hole right there. I can go back and put a little bit of sky in there if I want to. If I cover it up, then I don't have options. I always like to leave options. And I'm going to leave this here. I mean, it might not look like much now, but you've got trees, you've got a horizon line, you've got a pathway, and some yellow grass right about now. So tune in. back on my news feed maybe in a day or so, and I will post some progression on this painting. So I'm gonna bebop over to our Zoom class right now. I'm really glad that you all took some time to breathe and watch a little creativity. I hope I get to see you again. Caitlin, tomorrow at 2 o'clock is the teen Zoom class, so we're all just gonna like draw and paint together and have some conversation. So for now, we'll see you tomorrow morning for meditation. I've got something special in order, 9 a.m. Have a great night. I'll see everyone else over in the Zoom class.